So now I will show you how to edit this map. So how to modify it in order to iterate again on the map. And this afternoon, after the lunch break, there is a hands-on session where I will show you from scratch how to create a project with other types of data, because now you are basically using what we prepared for you, but now then I will show you from scratch, opening a blank QGIS page, how to reach this condition, and then I will show over the Mappy process so that you will be used to how to use it. Thank you, Luca. And
Thank you, Riccardo.
Stay around because maybe I
will
something.
Be here.
So I want to answer one question. This is my QGIS. It's quite similar to that of Luca. One question is that I had the red stripe above here, which is saying no transform available between unknown EPSG 432.6. This is a known issue with QGIS when you open up the planetary coordinate reference system. But don't worry, this is not harming your project. This is going to work like a charm. It's just a warning. If you click here, you can disable it. And if you go down to CRS, you will see that actually it's using moon equirectangular, and all the properties of the correct reference system are used by QGIS. So it's just a sign that you can discard. So at the moment, I have a similar map to that one of Luca. I still have to symbolize it. So there is another way to do it in case you want to do something different. You can give name to identified source indicators by clicking on that. You can identify all, or you can also open up the attribute table. So each of these files are vector files, and they are stored within the vector folder here, within this file, which is a geomap.gpkg. This is a geo package. It's a box where we put inside all your vector data, either polygons, points, polylines, and they all stay there. One of the first things that you want to check, and this is good for every time you close and you open up QGIS, this is just a reminder, but it's very, very important. Please open the Mappy interface, which is this gear icon, and go to the settings and check that all the time you are working with limit layers, source contacts, and indicator points, source indicators, unit field, unit name. This is your blueprint, and this has to be like this all the time. The output geo package is basically the one of your map and of your final contacts and your linear features. Mappy by default is pointing to a geo package which is in a default position in your computer, but we have provided one for you. So if you click here, you can scroll exactly to your moon final release folder. You go inside vector and you select Copernicus map. You save. It's asking you to overwrite. You say yes. And then you are sure that you're working inside the same folder all the time, not to lose the data. Anyways, if you don't do that, don't worry, because you are only work actively in this source contact file. So if your map is screwed, you don't find it anymore, don't worry, you can generate as many maps as you want. The only thing is that you have to go here and select the correct output location, and then Mappy is doing everything for you. And also is saving your project once you refresh and recompute your map. Having said that, another way to give a name to the source indicators. So every vector file is actually linked to a table. So every vector file, every point, every line, every polygon that you make is connected to a table which has columns that are called attributes. If you right-click with your mouse, you can open your attribute table, in this case related to your source indicators. And this is how it looks like. In this case, it has just two attributes, FID, which is a progressive number from the first entity that you add to the last. I can also resize it a bit. And the second one is unit name. You can add as many attributes as you want. Here you can add, I don't know, anything. It can be a text-based, a number-based, an index-based, whatever. The important thing is that when you select the field of the attribute table, maybe it's barely visible here, but the points are becoming yellow. So for example, now I have selected this. Now this is selected. Maybe if I make the color of the points different, it's even better. So to change the color of the points, you double click. This is opening up your properties panel. Actually, this is for the lines, not for the points. So for points are this one, source indicators. I can also edit the size apart from the color. So you see the symbology, you get a lot of things, but you can choose the marker. I want to keep it simple and I want to make it red. And I can use this rotor to change colors. Yeah, this is very easy. So you can assign a red color to your points. You see, they become red. You can also increase the size. It can be 4, but they're becoming a bit big, but you get the idea. Yeah. And this is how you get your points more visible in case you lose some of your points along the way.
Riccardo, could you add also labels? Just
yes, we can add labels to the points. I will do it later on once we add the names. So once you have we have basically 3 points within 3 enclosed areas by polylines, and that's generated 3 different polygons through Mappy. If we go to the attribute table, you see I can select every record is related to a point. Now it's much more visible. And let's say, for example, the outer unit is the ejecta blanket of the crater. You see, this looks like ejected material from the crater. This is the rim of the crater. This is the interior part of the crater, the inner walls, and this is the floor. Let's keep it simple like that. So if I open the attribute table, I can give a name to this part, to this unit that is taken from the name of this point. So I have to select the points. So I have to select the source indicators. I have to open the attribute table. So if I'm working with the contacts, I'm adding new contacts, and then I want to symbolize the map to create the units. I have to select the source indicators, right click, open attribute table, or use the method that Luca gave you. You have to enable the editing mode. You see that can be reached from here, from right click here, yeah, or directly from the table, because they are all pointing to the same entity, which is our points. And now, for example, I can type ejecta here. Here, this point is related to the inner part. So it can be, I don't know, inner crater walls. And this third one is the crater floor. Okay, I can save it. And so you have to click again on the editing button. And now I can recompute the map. So now everything is green, is null, but if I recompute it, now that I give the names, of course, you will see the units, but I can also give names to the units and to the indicators. And to do that, you can simply double click on source indicators. Yeah. So apart from the symbology, you see I can also add labels here at the bottom. It says no labels, but this is a drop-down menu. You can add single labels to each point. If you click on that, this menu opens up, and basically it's labeling the value of the attribute table, so the column of the attribute table. Since we have 2 columns in the attribute table, we just have FID, which is the progressive number, and the unit name. We can choose unit name. Then you have some controls about the size, the font size. For example, I can increase it a bit, like that, or I can keep it simple. I can change the color. I can make a buffer around the writing or a mask, whatever. And then I click apply. And here you have the labels of your source indicators. Eventually, I could also add labels to everything. So also, for example, the final map units, but in this case, it's not needed, for example. What is needed, since I want to continue editing and improving the map, is to have a little of transparency, because I can disable this or enable this, but maybe I want to see how it looks like. I can double click, and here I have other properties. For example, I can go down here. This is very important because I'm now showing you how to add the transparency slider. You go to legend, and then you have some available widgets here at the bottom. For example, the opacity slider. These are available widgets, and here you have the used widgets. To put this into the used widgets, simply click on this arrow, which is putting this widget on the side. Now this is active, and look here. If I click apply, I have a slider now. Yeah. So now with this slider, I can adjust the transparency of your map. Yeah. This is one way to do it, and this is true also for all the other layers at the bottom. This works with vector and with raster. So now we have our map, but we want to add more units. For example, this is the crater floor. I want to add some central peak. So I go back, click on source contacts, and add more contacts. Go here, start outlining new features, like so. Now it's asking you another thing, which is the certainty. I will show it this afternoon. This is a bit more advanced. For the moment, we can keep it like that. We have the crater floor. Now we will enter a conflict, and I will show you why. Okay. So when I have added these two areas, if I recompute the map, Mappy should put a point inside this closed area and this closed area. Okay. Problem is that now we have this, which is become crater floor because it was named before. These other two ones doesn't have a name yet. In fact, they are shown in the map as null. They still have to have a name. We can either move this object outside, but you cannot have 2 points within the same polygon. If you have it, nothing will break, but simply Mappy will go to and pick up the name of the first point in the attribute table record. Or I can rename the points. So we go to source indicators. You can open up attribute table, you toggle the editing, and you will see that the crater floor now is this. I don't want it to be crater floor anymore. I want it to be central peak. Yeah. Then number 4, this one, if I click it, it's just here. It's the yellow one. Now this is the crater floor. Yeah. And now we can give a name to this other one, which is again central peak. So if you want this unit, because maybe you have the same type of rocks or type of morphology that is scattered here and there, but they pertain to the same unit, meaning type of rocks, similar reflectance or albedo, similar roughness, similar morphologic appearance, you have to give the same name to be consistent. And yeah, if I type it correctly in the same way, and I recompute the map, these two are the same unit identified by 2 different points. Yeah. And I can go over and over and add new features to the map. We still have a couple of minutes. I can just show you how to edit the map, not just adding new features, but also modifying the outline of features. Remember that we are always working with source contacts. The editing is enabled. So normally we add new features with this button here, this polyline with the yellow star. On the side, on the right, we have another button, which is the vertex tool. If you hover the mouse, it's basically telling you the description. So if I click on this, I don't add any new object, but you see, if I hover my mouse on top of a line, maybe we'll zoom in a bit, you see something different. You see all the nodes, so the vertices that you added. And if you hover the mouse over a segment connecting 2 nodes, this is becoming highlighted. And if you put it in the middle, a red cross will appear. So this is used to modify the position of the vertices, translate the segment, or to add new nodes. So I will show you in practice. Let's say I want to refine, for example, this was not really a nice, nicely traced contact. So I can take the hand, I can drag, maybe we can zoom in a bit. I will select my source contacts, select the tool, and hover the mouse. Let's say I want to move this vertex. So I put the mouse on the top of the vertex. It's becoming 2 concentric red circles. I left click, and then I move in a new position, you see? And then if I left click again, the vertex will be placed on a new position. I can do it over and over here. And you see the red line at the bottom is just the final contacts, so the clean contacts by Mappy, but I can disable it for the moment. But for example, I want also to add the node here because this is not really approximating my contact, and also here. Yeah. So what about adding new vertices in between these two? You have to go in the middle of the segment, and when a red cross appears, you left click and a new vertex is created. Yeah. So you can move it and maybe place it here. And again, here I can create a new vertex here. And here, if I hover in between the 2 points at the middle, I can create a new vertex. If you hover on the segment and the whole segment is becoming red, you can click. And then this is translate parallel to its direction everywhere around your mouse, okay? So let's say I have modified the map a bit, and then the only thing I need to do is to recompute it. And you see, we are iterating and refining the map. Let me recompute. And now the final map is improved. And basically, this can be done over and over. For example, I can do it here again. I can add a new node here, here. I can add another node. It takes time and practice, of course. You don't have to master it by today, but this is to give you a flavor on how you can do things. So you can add new entities with this button, or you can modify what you already drawn. Now let me recompute the map again, and we are creating an improved version of the map. I've been asked many times about another thing, which is, can I do this modification while I am drawing an entity with this button? Yeah. So let's say I am outlining, I don't know, this rough unit here. So if I am adding nodes, yeah, I cannot go here and modify it. Before I need to stop editing, yeah. Let me cross it, left click and right click, and only after I stop editing, I can go and modify it. Okay, so we have shown you how to add entities, how to modify entities. Of course, we may want to delete entities. There are also multiple ways to do it. The easiest one is probably go here. There's these buttons with the yellow squares. These are called the selection tools. You have to be sure, again, to have selected the proper entity, to have the editing enabled, and then you can go here, select. This is going to be highlighted. It shows the segments and the vertices, and then you click on the trash button. Yeah, delete one feature. This is a way to do it. Another way to do it, you have, of course, select features by square, by polygons, by lasso, freehand, or radius. There are different tools similar to other editing softwares. And this is a way to do it. Another way to do it, let me add a new entity again, just by chance. Maybe this is not good for us. Because we are recomputing the map, you see, and we didn't close properly, so nothing is appearing inside. We want, or maybe we just drawn it wrong. Another way to do it is go to the attribute table and go and select the proper record. Of course, if you start to have more and more, maybe it's not the best way to do it. But you see, this is this one. And then here at the top, you have the same button. You can trash it. Yeah. And then you can save it. So this is a basic way to do basic editing, adding new entities, modifying, and deleting. This afternoon, we will go more in depth into project creation from scratch. You will not have to do it in the school. All the projects are created for you by us. You just need to focus on the map editing, but I will show it anyways because it's useful. And also we will show some more advanced symbolization. But for the moment, I will leave the stage to Thomas Heyer, which is going to talk to you about another plugin developed between Europlanet and GMAP about critter counting and surface dating.